is the next Kobe
Yep.
Bryant.
Yep.
I'm saying it on national television. Devin Booker
said it.
is the next Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
It is official. His first playoff appearance. And the brother's a number one option, averaging over 28, dropped 40 in a triple-double in the first game of the conference finals. And just the way he plays, he's an assassin.
You know, Perk, Twitter, feisty after this, all sorts of fired up. Where are you, sir, on Stephen A comparing Booker to Kobe?
You know what, Molly? I was actually walking through the airport, and I stopped, and I was grabbing something to eat, watching First Take. And I sit up here, and I said to myself, okay, this is the Senior Citizens Day, okay? They had Stephen A, Max, and Magic on there. And when Stephen A uttered those words, not you, Molly, not you. When Stephen A uttered those words out of his mouth, and I saw Magic and Max co-signing, yep, and then Magic over there doing, yeah. I was sitting up there and I was appalled. For the simple fact that, look, I'm not taking anything away from Devin Booker. Offensively, he's talented. He has zero flaws. He has mid-range. He has a pull-up tray. He can handle. He can get to the basket. He has all of that. But when you talk about the great Kobe Bryant and what separates them two, I'm going to just stick to this point. Kobe Bryant was a menace, not just on the offensive end, Molly and Stephen A and Max, but on the defensive side of things. We're talking about a guy that has 12 NBA all defensive teams, 9 of them first team. I mean, look, listen. Kobe Bryant, right, was Michael Jordan 2.0 on the perimeter with his skill set. And on the low block, he was Akeem Olajuwon in a 6'6" frame body, okay? Let's not get it twisted. We're talking about arguably the most skilled guy to ever touch the damn basketball. I would not just grant and put Devin Booker in that conversation with Kobe Bryant. Not just yet. I cannot do it. And I'm not about to listen to it.
Well, actually, you are about to listen to it because you're on this show, okay? And obviously, because you do such an exceptional job, making me very, very proud, becoming an astute NBA analyst that you are, you also going to be on SportsCenter with Stephen A in the future as well. So you'll be listening whether you like it or not, Kendrick Perkins. Let's get that out the way. That's number one. Number two, you do have an obligation to decipher and comprehend exactly what I'm saying instead of getting caught up in your emotions and saying, you act like I say he better than Kobe Bryant. No. Kobe Bryant, God rest his wonderful soul, is no longer here. And even before that, he had retired. What I said was he's the next dude. When you look at his game and you look at how he plays, specifically on the offensive end of the floor, tell me somebody who mirrors Kobe more. The mid-range game, the pull-up J's, the threes, the ball handling, how he sits up there and shrugs you off and pulls up butter all day, every day. This dude has averaged better than 25 a game pretty much for the last 4 or 5 years. This dude, Devin Booker, shoots 45% or better from the field. He shoots around 35% from three-point range. Numbers incredibly similar to that of Kobe Bryant. Oh, by the way, as good as Kobe Bryant was from the free throw line, career 83%, Devin Booker's actually better at 87%. So what is it that he can't do offensively? Oh, I forgot. Kobe Bryant scored 81 points in a game because Wilt Chamberlain once had 100. And second was Kobe Bryant. He had 81. Guess what Devin Booker did against your Boston Celtics over a year or so ago? He dropped 70. This is who this dude is. And so when I look at it from that perspective, and I'm watching him on the basketball court, going against teams, dudes running at him, trying to punk him, trying to act like, you know what, he ain't the babyface assassin that he think he is. That's reserved for Steph Curry. Devin Booker's been like, yo, somebody done told y'all wrong. You better ask somebody. His first playoff appearance, the brother's averaging better than 28. Like, consistently. They're winning basketball games, and he's the number one option. Everybody knows it, and he's one, particularly, and you know this, KP, because like you said, you got the NBA package, and you watch the games. You know I do. So what does he do? You see at times there's breakdowns with Phoenix's offense. One of those young thoroughbreds get out there. They might not run a play correctly or whatever. And Devin Booker just says, give it to me. I'll clean up for you. Yep, let's try it again next time down the court. This is who he is. And again, the next Kobe Bryant, not better, just the next.
Well, welcome to the party, Stephen A, because I've been calling him a mini Mamba. He's an inch or two shorter, so he's physically not as big as Kobe. And Perk, right, Kobe defensively was also different, but their games are very similar. The footwork, the shot-making ability, and all that stuff, and that Kobe was a mentor, that's not surprising. But on top of that, a bigger issue is when the lights shine brightest. And we didn't know this about Book yet because until last year in the bubble, right? Because he's never been in that position. When the lights shine brightest, he plays his best. He doesn't shy away from that. If anything, he gets stronger. He gets better in that moment. So to sit there and deny that you see similarities, that's not even truthful. It's okay to compare two different guys, even if you think one guy is better. I don't think Devin Booker will go down in history side by side with Kobe Bryant. But he is the mini Mamba. His game, his offensive game, his scoring is similar. And by the way, when Stephen A brings up like the shooting, the three-point shooting, he shoots like 35 and Kobe shot 33. But in Kobe's era, 33 is like 35 now. So with similar games, playing the same position, the same kind of mentality and characteristics, how are you going to sit there and deny the comparison?
Fellas, here's the deal. This conversation's too good. We need to discuss it further, but we got to take a quick break. We'll revisit this a little bit later in the show because it's not going anywhere, this topic. When we come back here...
Get out of town. He's going to have to leave. But guys, watch Summer League from a couple years ago. He was taking and hitting shots. Jump shots, believe it or not. It's there in him somewhere. The problem is between the ears. So where could he go to get fixed? I think Magic was on the show yesterday, and we were talking about, and I was saying, like, which coach could fix him, and Magic was talking about a veteran player. Well, who's his agent? Rich Paul, Clutch Sports, right? Where might they be able to swing a trade, especially now that he's so devalued? Maybe the Lakers. Maybe it's LeBron James, whose game Simmons resembles in certain ways, in many ways, in fact. Maybe that's where he has to go to get the proper kind of veteran guidance with a chance to win and a franchise where maybe he eventually gets the keys. I think he's fixable, guys. It cannot occur in Philadelphia.
Well, if it can't occur in Philadelphia, which we both agree on, then that means it can't be fixed. Because the only reason we're asking this question is because he's in Philadelphia. We're certainly not advocating that Ben Simmons be removed from the NBA, that he's not on an NBA roster, that he doesn't play in an NBA uniform. Nobody is saying that. The reason why this question exists is because after losing yet again in the conference semifinals for the third time in 4 years, we're looking at Ben Simmons being coached by Doc Rivers, not Brett Brown this time, and we're saying, okay, what does the future hold from him? There. And the answer is he needs to go. And he needs to go because Philadelphia is a very unforgiving environment. You know, the die has been cast. We get all of that. Doc Rivers, with all due respect, all his experiences and everything else, he's a champion. He coached in Boston. Kendrick Perkins, correct me if I'm wrong. He coached in Boston where he won a championship and went to 2 NBA finals in 3 years. He coached in Orlando before that. He coached the Clippers after that. He's coaching Philadelphia now this first year. I believe this was his first year in there. I believe this is his first year there. And Doc Rivers was on somewhat of a honeymoon because in the city of Philadelphia, he was a godsend compared to Brett Brown. No disrespect. I'm just giving you fact. So he's not really feeling the heat. As somebody that worked in Philadelphia for 17 years, that was a columnist for the last 7 years there, let me tell you something. It ain't going to get any easier for Ben Simmons. And here's why it's not going to get any easier. And Kendrick Perkins will side with me. I'm pretty damn sure he's going to march with me lockstep on this. 4 years Ben Simmons been in the NBA. The game is the same. He can go downhill. He can rebound. He's an elite defender. But to make ends meet because the sport doesn't pay you enough money, This brother's getting paid over $30 million a year. You got brothers getting paid to do nothing but play basketball. And what I monitor, and I believe I'm an absolute expert at this, I monitor what you were compared to what you are. I'm watching whether or not you developed your game. Did you work on it? Ben Simmons looks the same as he has always looked, which means he never worked on his game. And if you didn't work on your game, why should I trust you if I'm Philly? Yeah, 4 years. I gave you 30 plus million per, and you still didn't work on your game. I'm sorry. You got to go in another direction.
You know what? Here's the thing I think we all need to ask ourselves and be honest. Who is Ben Simmons? Okay, and we want to label him as a point guard, right? And I don't feel that way. In college, he played the power forward, and he flourished well at that position. To me, I'm looking at Ben Simmons right now, and he's a Sabonis type player. The way that the way that the Pacers use Sabonis, that's how Ben Simmons has to be used. He has to be a guy that's able to be initiating the offense, going dribble handoffs, rolling to the basket, being a lob threat, getting the ball on the low block, getting touches around the paint area, and assisting. He's still great at facilitating for others because he led the NBA this year in 3 points assisted. But when I look at Ben Simmons in the situation, I want to be fair because I was very critical of him on the get-up yesterday. And I had to think about this. Go back and look at Ben Simmons' game, the Philadelphia 76ers game without Joel Embiid. He was on the tear. Matter of fact, he dropped 40 on Rudy Gobert down there in Utah, the defensive player of the year, doing what he do best, attacking downhill. So when I'm looking at Ben Simmons, I feel like his confidence was lost throughout the course of the season because they were running so much through Joel Embiid, and he was standing around so much, not diving and getting the touches, getting the feel for the basketball, being able to shoot his hooks, not being able to get those post touches at a consistent basis, and it's transpired into the postseason. So when you ask him to start delivering in the postseason, now all of a sudden his confidence is gone. It's shot because the offense, 70% of the offense is ran through Joel Embiid. So with that being said, they got to ship him off somewhere, probably to Minnesota, where he'll fit in with Karl Anthony Towns, who love to float around the three-point line and let Ben Simmons dominate the paint area.
Well, see, I think the thing that's important to deduce from what you're saying, KP, is that like me and Max, you're not saying the brother can't be a star in this league. You're not saying that he can't play in this league at a very high level. You're just saying Philadelphia is no longer the place. And why are we saying that? We're saying that for two reasons. Number one, we're saying that because we know Joel Embiid ain't going nowhere for the foreseeable future. It ain't like you're going to sit Joel Embiid on a bench for him. That's number one. Number two, and more importantly, I will be consistent with what I said, just like you brought up what you said at the very beginning. Before a game was played this year, I was on the record. Philadelphia ain't winning a championship when your primary ball handler can't shoot the basketball. Ben Simmons has to be able to shoot the basketball in order for the Philadelphia 76ers to shine to the level that we want, because he's too gifted in every other area not to be on the floor. You have to have him on the floor because he's gifted in every other way. But offensively, against the better teams in the postseason, offensively, the Philadelphia 76ers are playing 4 against 5 because he's not a threat from the perimeter, and that compromises what you need done come postseason time. That's why I ain't say take money out of his pocket. I didn't say he doesn't deserve his money. I'm saying in Philadelphia, he's not that player. He has to go somewhere else. It can't be here.
Well, that's why Brett Brown put him in the dunker spot in the playoffs. He was unplayable at the point guard position, to your point, KP, but the only thing is that given his speed and his handles, he's not going to be Sabonis or whoever you want to compare him to. Like the temptation to play him at the point, he has elite speed at 6'10". Who's ever had better handles at the height of 6'10"? He's dynamic. He can get to the basket. He can finish at the basket, when he's not scared to go to the free throw line. His court vision is A+, his passing is A+. It's too tempting to have him run the team. And since we've seen him hit jump shots in the past in Summer League, that means what's happening is not that he's incapable of doing it. He refuses to do it. But the point is, Perk, what's the real difference between the ears? He's not the bigger the stage, the more scared he is.
Max, Big Perk. Big Perk and Max, I just received a text. You know how Max, I get my text messages during the show. Y'all know that. I just received a text from somebody very, very close to the situation in Philadelphia about Ben Simmons. This is a quote. This is not me. This is them. Quote, he doesn't work. He doesn't listen. And everyone around him is family. And he's constantly babied.
Yeah, that's
the word
that's credible, isn't
about
it?
Ben Simmons.
That's credible. Let me just say this, guys. This is why I said, Perk, the Lakers would be the place for him. I think Magic is right. It needs to come from a veteran player, that kind of mentorship. Someone like LeBron James could do it. It has to have someone with real gravitas who has a game similar to his to take him under his wing and say, this is how it's done.
Please.
Max,
he's represented by Clutch Sports. That's close enough to LeBron James. They talked.
Max.
Yes.
And Max, Danny Green is on that team, right? He's a 3-time champion. You know how to rub off on him for his hard work. Dwight Howard is over there. He's a champion, a future Hall of Famer. That's hard work. But look, to your point, Max, and this is why I want you to graduate and grow with me, okay? This is why I want you to actually start. Listen, this is why I actually want you to actually start watching the game, except when there's national televised throughout the course of the season, and actually turn on the league pass. Because if you watch the Indiana Pacers, you will watch Sabonis grab a rebound and push the ball up the floor and initiate the offense. That don't mean that he's the point guard. All I'm saying is he's a dual forward. He's a forward, a power forward that can handle the rock and initiate dribble handoffs. And what I'm saying is, my whole point to you, Max, was him and Embiid just don't fit. They don't fit. I wanted to see it happen. But it's just not going to happen. They don't fit. They need their own team. They need their own space. He's a third option guy, and he would fit well with Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards in Minnesota.
All right.
Not enough shooting maybe with Edwards and Simmons, but yeah, I like it.
Hey, Molly.
Yeah.
Molly. Max talks so damn much, he doesn't even listen enough to give his own self credit.